Hey, what's going on, guys? Dan at Landshark. So I want to talk and kind of continue the day trading for beginners series, and I want to go through and I'm going to play a video that one of our students last year went through, and I want to discuss how he started trading, and I'm going to give you kind of a student case study in this video. Then I'm going to do a next video, and I'm going to show you some things that I've done with this. And I want to walk you through to show you kind of like, again, like a case study, a progress report to show you the viability of trading. And I want to go through and show you to give you different ideas to see, like, is this a real thing? Can you make it happen? How do you make it happen? So I'm going to walk you through, and I'm going to let this video play. Hopefully it doesn't come out too blurry. I'll upload the original one that we had one of our students make. And I'll go through this. So this particular student was a CPA. He went to school to be a CPA, worked for a firm for a while, decided to get into trading. Actually flew out to Scottsdale, was doing some work there at business, checked their office out, got in. And he decided to basically test this out last year, right? So he was trading with a different size account with stocks, but he's like, I'm going to try the option side to see, is there viability with this? Is this something that's actually that I can make work? So he actually started, and I'm going to go through and explain to you again step by step his process for this. So he started when he did this. If you go to our on-demand learning tab, and I go through and explain, he started with our more options trading. And the reason I'm showing you this because it's kind of important to discuss the curriculum and the philosophy for this particular program. So this particular program is strictly directional options trading. So what that means is you simply buy a call if you think a stock is going higher. If you think it's going lower, you just buy a put. So what it does, and the second part is you don't have to risk as much capital, right? So if you're trading with, he was trading $2,000, you don't have to buy $2,000 worth of a stock, sell it for $200, and then keep doing that over and over and over. Or you don't have to go to an offshore broker to get capital to leverage your money. It allows you to do this. And I'm going to give you a preface with this as we go through this. But the second thing was position sizing, right? So with this program, the concept is most of our students that start, we assume that you're like 2 to 5, 2 to 6,000, right? If you're going to like test it out. Most people don't just jump into trading and throw 50, 100 grand. We've had students throw well over that. But some of these guys are well-to-do. They have other businesses. Again, it just depends on what walk of life you're coming from into coming into trading. But for a lot of our students, some just want to test this and see if it's a viability thing. And like 2 to 6,000, 2 to 8,000 is something that's realistic. I personally think the $2,000 side is too low. He did it. I've done it before. In fact, I'm going to show you a video where I took 2,000 into 9,000 in a month just trading. But I think you've got to be realistic with this, right? So this is a one case study. Have we had students do really well? Yeah. Over the case of the year, he turned this in like $30-some thousand. But the most important part, and this is really important, is that he stuck to the $500 rule. That's the max amount of money per trade he would trade, right? So there's viability to this. You don't need to use day trading because this isn't day trading, right? You don't have to work pattern day trading rule. You don't have to get an offshore broker, right? I'm not a big fan of that either. Right, and you don't need leverage, right? So let's get all of this day trading concepts out of your mind. Let's get past this concept and let's try to bring true financial information to you and show you these are all myths. So this is a program that he took. He only followed, I'm going to show you some of the trades that he took. He only really traded about 20 different stocks, 30 different stocks any single time. That's it, right? So let's go through this. Hopefully the sound comes out. I'm going to stop and pause it at times, and I'm going to explain a few things and go through some of his trades, and I'll just kind of let him explain this as it goes through this. So let's start the video here. Let's turn this up so you can hear it, and let's get going.
Hey everyone, it's Ryan here at Landshark Education. I want to show you how in 2016 I took a $2,100 account and had over $30,000 in profits. So I'm logged into my TD Ameritrade account here. I want to show you that on the 1st of February, $2,100 was deposited, and that's my net cash balance. When I turned all this into the $30,000 in profits, I used directional options that are taught through Landshark Education, the methods that we used, and I maybe did 2 or 3 spreads just to help me hedge out of position. So probably 99 point.
So what he's saying there is when he started, it was directional options. So as he built his trading account, actually he figured this was viable. What he did is he progressed into our advanced options class. So he learned like spread trading strategies in addition to directional options. So as the account grew, and I'm going to walk you through this, he increased the size a little bit, but still stayed under the rule. But then he added a few different strategies, right? You don't necessarily need to add multiple trading strategies to what it is you're doing, but he just said he had a few losers, so he would hedge out of the position to mitigate loss. So let's let him continue and go through this.
9% of my trades were directional. So I uploaded all this to profit.ly. You can go online and see it there. The link is available in the section below, so make sure you check that out. And you can see some of the profits that I made. You're not going to see a lot of home runs, but still, you don't go broke taking profit, right?
So that's a really good point. So what he says is, and this is something that I preach for any new trader that's trading with a small amount of money, even a large amount of money, is what he said was you're not going to see a lot of home runs, right? You won't. That's not the point of this, and that's a mindset for a lot of investors and a lot of day traders. Is you think you have to find this one stock that's going to make you all this money and you're done doing this. This is a job, so to speak, right? This is a grind, right? If you think trading or day trading is like, yeah, I'm going to be super wealthy, go quickly, like I'm making money, I mean, good luck, right? That's not what this is. It takes a while and it's a grind. You may have 4 or 5 large quote unquote home run trades a year, right? Those will typically, for me anyway, come around earnings events. So it's important. I'm going to go through his slides that he uploaded. I'll explain this website, but let's let him continue to talk on this.
When I would trade, even at $2,100, if I had $10,000 in my account, $20,000 in my account, my risk was still pretty minimal. And even in today, I'm only risking $200 to $300, maybe $500 on a single trade at a time. And it's just, my personal risk management. I could probably count on one hand how many times I've risked $750, maybe $1,000 or more. It's not very often that I do so. So my risk reward is pretty good. Again, I want to get at least 50% of what I risk back. So if I'm risking $250 in an option trade, I want to get at least $125 out of that. If I'm risking $500, I want $250. So you can go through my trades, some of the losses, and what I've done here. But any questions on those, please feel free to, ask questions or leave comments below. But again, back to that risk point, think about your penny stocks, or if you're buying shares, how much do you have to risk to make money? Okay, LMT is a great example. This is a $200 plus shares. I'm not going to be buying a whole lot of shares to make $427. It's going to take a pretty big move or a lot of shares to be able to do so. So options, same with Starbucks, VXX, Priceline, that's over $1,000 stock. I can use options to risk less and get a pretty good reward off of those.
So let's go back to what he's talking about here. So I'm sorry, that was my thinkorswim, but let's go back to what he's talking about. So what he keeps talking about is risk, and this is an important part of this because I talked about it a little bit in the day trading course, but he talks about risk from this standpoint. So the issue is when you see people, and I'm going to go through these trades, and I don't agree with a lot of the trades on this site, and I'm going to give you a disclaimer briefly, but the question I get is I'll tell friends, like, I made this on a trade, and they're like, well, how much did you have to make that? Right? The larger money trades, there's more capital on the line. I mean, that's you can't debate that. But a lot of these trades, he's risking, again, like he said, dude, he could count on his hand the number of times he had a trade that was $700 or $1,000 worth of capital. Right? So most of these trades, he's not putting out more than 500. So they're small wins. Right? But they're small wins where if you lose, you don't have to sit there and panic. And what I talked about in the day trading for beginners video is the issue a lot of day traders have to trade stocks is you guys look at 1 minute charts and 5 minute charts. And when you guys look at those charts, you're so concerned because you have your entire account or half of your account or even on margin that when it pulls back on you guys 10 cents and you're down 250, you start to freak out and panic and you cover the trade. And then little do you know, after you cover, it goes in your direction, right? So you guys are having to risk all this capital to make this money. And I see it over and over and over, right? And there's like guys that teach this, and I don't understand it because you have options to actually take the same trade idea, right? The S&P 500 every single day has massive moves. All right, the last video I made, this is the second part. Now I'm short the S&P 500. Right? I'm sitting short on this position as we speak in class. If I can pull it up here, I'm short this. I'm going to pull it up and show you. So this is my futures broker. So I'm short this position of $100, and it's only a one contract. It's Friday, but I'm short this, right? So this cost me $500 of my account to put this risk trade on, right? So I'm sitting on this position waiting for this setup, and you just don't have to put that much capital on. So let me let him go through a few more comments. I'll comment through and go through a few more.
Well, Amazon, Netflix by far has been my best stock to trade in 2016. I'd say a quarter of my account, probably, I think it was around $5,000 or $6,000 of my account come from Netflix and just the options on it. So do that with penny stocks. You're going to be risking $2 or $3 grand to make a couple $100 in reality. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to buy $500 worth of penny stocks and make $400 or $500. So if you go to our main website, how we use
let me skip here for a second and go to, I think there's another part. That's the other part. So he kind of finished that for me. But he had a few interesting points here that I want to discuss. Let me bring the mic back over. And I'm going to walk you through his trades and explain what this website is. So this website, it's called Profit.loi. I used to have some stuff on there. I don't like it anymore. There's reasons why. But I'll walk you through this. I've seen his account because I worked with him on this. So the one downside is people, you can't upload. You can choose what trades you want to upload and not upload here. So I don't really like it too much. But this is what he made last year, right? From that account. He didn't add any capital to it. It was literally a grind, right? So if I go through and show you, that's the wrong one. If I go through and show you, right, all these trades, and let's look at them. It's 26 pages of this, right? So you see, some of them are just small wins. They're not massive, right? Like this is a big win, 324. I mean, let's go to the last page on this. At least if I can't go to the last page, it's recent. Right? Oh, this is January last year, right? So here's just progression, right? So he was actually one of the students I mentioned last classes, or in the last video was, he actually started trading live out of his first week of his core foundations class. So thankfully the guy made money doing this, and he just progressed. Maybe it helped that he was a CPA before this. But let's look at some of these trades, right? Like this Netflix trade is a $1,700 trade on this, right? So I'm going to walk you through this and just go through simple math. So on this trade, he bought 5 of these contracts. Shows the position size right here, right? This is his position size. And then his entry was 145 a contract. So 5 times that's 500. So he had 750 worth of capital. If everything went against him with no stops in, he loses $750. Most of the time we don't let that happen. You can still cover if you have a loss. But these contracts traded almost $500 a contract, a gain of almost 240%. So that $700 made him $1,700 on this one particular position. Right? Now, obviously, if you buy Netflix, it's very, very tough to buy the shares in that. Right? But most of his trades we go through, they're all pretty small. Nothing's too crazy on it, right? You're not going to see anything that's outlandish where it's like, hey, like, I made $10,000 and this is what I've done with it. That's not typical, right? And these are current. I think these are recent trades that he's made in the market. Right. Let's look at this other Netflix trade. Right. So again, he's sticking to risk management. He had 3 contracts at $1 a piece, which is $300. He sold them for $240 a contract. So this is a big portion of, trading is what he's done really well with, and what a lot of traders don't do is he's sticking to his process. So every trade we use a price chart to make our trades, right? If you look at every one of these ticker symbols, they're all the same things over and over. We just keep trading the same stocks, right? That's part of our strategy with this, right? At least with the option side. The second part of the strategy he's using, even though his account's bigger and he's put more money to it for this year, he's still not deviating. Look, there's another trade here on Netflix, right? His risk here, he had one option, right, for $166. The very next day, he sold this for $800, right? So he's risking very, very little to make these trades, and he doesn't have any big losses. There's nothing here that's like $1,000, $2,000 loss, right? He's not swinging for the fences. What we're trying to do, and when you're building a small trading account, the concept is really simple. Number one, you want to take a little bit of risk. You don't want to take a lot of risk. Number two, right, you don't want to, as you build the account, say, okay, look, now I'm up to $10,000. I'm going to risk $10,000 in this one single trade, miss it, now you're back to square one on that. Right? You've got to keep the same process over and over. So I think that's a real important part as you're trading with smaller accounts or trading in the options market. So pretty cool story. I'll upload the original video to him. Long story short, he's now trading futures, doing extremely well on the futures side as well, and trading options using the same size. So I think this is important for small traders. If you have questions, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Head over to our website. If you want to learn more, you can head to our website. We have Trading 101 webinars. They're online and in person. We have them in Vancouver, Scottsdale, Newport Beach, Houston, and some other cities that are opening soon. So you can head over there and sign up for one of those if you are